Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this celebration in honor of World Interfaith Harmony Week. Our theme is interfaith cooperation and peace because we see a direct correlation between uh, the relationship among religions and the establishment of a world of lasting peace. I want to say just a little bit about this World Interfaith Harmony Week. It was in the year 2010 a General Assembly resolution that declared the first week of February as World Interfaith Harmony Week. So this is a significant development in the history of the United Nations and a process that began, I would say, developing in the 1990s. But if one goes all the way back to the drafting of the Charter of the United Nations uh, at the close of World War II in San Francisco, 1945, there, among the 50 or so delegates that gathered to draft the charter and launch the United Nations, there were a number of religious NGOs and religious figures who were advising and encouraging and making recommendations for the charter. So that tradition has continued, even though the United Nations is an intergovernmental body consisting only of member states, that is, governments, sovereign states. Uh, Faith-based organizations, FBOs, as a kind of type of non-governmental organizations, have been very active, and including the Universal Peace Federation. In fact, one significant period was in the year 2000, there was a Millennium Summit of religious and spiritual leaders associated with the United Nations. And it was at that time in August that UPF convened Assembly 2000. And at that time, our founders both spoke at the UN and proposed greater emphasis on interfaith dialogue, and in fact, advocated for the establishment of a council of faith leaders who would have a position within the UN system. 2005 was significant with the establishment of the Alliance of Civilizations, which has a mandate to work with religions. Also, mention must be made of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, the nation of Jordan, and King Abdullah II, who has been a very strong advocate for interfaith relations going back to 2004 with what was called the Amman message that called for greater intra-religious unity within Islam and advocated for a moderate mainstream focus of Islam. And then in 2007, something entitled the Common Word Initiative, advocating greater and better relationships between Islam and Christianity. And it was the Kingdom of Jordan who submitted the resolution, the proposal for World Interfaith Harmony Week that was declared in 2010. So I just wanted to give a little bit of that background, that it represents the understanding that religion is not just in a private sphere separated out from the affairs of the world, but actually is a key player in world affairs. And notice and attention must be given to that reality. And it also behooves the religions to also work together and be indeed primarily agents of peace in this world, even working collaboratively with governments. So We have four wonderful panelists today. I'm very happy that they agreed to participate on short notice. I'd like to mention Dr. Tajuddin Ahmad. He is the international president of the Universal Peace Federation, and he serves as the chairman of the World Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, and he is a vice chair of the Global Forum for Human Settlements, another UN entity, and a global vice president of Sun Moon University in Korea. His full bio will be in the chat column along with the others. Second, I'd like to introduce our panelist, Dr. Afsar Rator. He's a global citizen. He grew up and studied in several countries and a distinguished career with several United Nations organizations across the globe. Extensive experience in peace and conflict resolution, poverty alleviation, diplomacy, interfaith harmony, climate change, and project and risk management. Specifically, he's worked on a number of projects related to the Department of Peacekeeping in Bosnia, Herzegovina, Rwanda, Somalia, for example. His bio in full will be in the chat column. Our third speaker is Nagma Shreta, a peace builder and UN representative of the International Association of Youth and Students for Peace, IAYSP, working at the intersection of peace education, interfaith dialogue, gender equality, and youth engagement. She is currently pursuing a master's degree, I'm happy to say, in peace studies at HJI International Graduate School for Peace and Public Leadership, has been actively involved in UN processes, including Committee on the Status of Women, the Economic and Social Council, and the High-Level Political Forum. She is also Miss Universe of Nepal 2017. So a very, very talented woman. Finally, it's my pleasure to introduce Guruji Dilipji. He is internationally known, his formal name, Advaita, His Holiness Jagat Guru Dilipji Maharaj, respectfully known as Guruji, a globally recognized yogi, interfaith minister, and humanitarian from Kerala in India. Born into an ancient interfaith family, respected for its Vedic scholarship in yoga, Vedanta, Ayurveda, Sanskrit, martial arts, and natural peace healing traditions, all rooted in a commitment to peace and universal spirituality. This is a very busy week for Guruji. I was honored to be at his program just a couple of days ago at the UN in the Church Center. Excellent panel, and he moderated that session extremely well. So he will be our fourth speaker for today. So to lead us off, I'd like to invite Dr. Tajuddin Ahmad to be our first speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Walsh. I'm always very inspired to hear you speaking about religion, the United Nations. Your depths of knowledge and understanding is admirable. Thank you very much. Let me start by greeting all of you, excellencies, representatives of the civil society, faith leaders, colleagues, and friends. It's a great honor to join you today in observance of the United Nations World Interfaith Harmony Week. I would like to thank the organizers for convening this timely and meaningful gathering, and to express my appreciation to all participants who are committed to advancing dialogue, understanding, and peaceful coexistence among people of different faiths and beliefs. World Interfaith Harmony Week was established by the United Nations General Assembly to highlight a fundamental truth. Peace among nations is inseparable from peace among religions. In an increasingly interconnected yet polarized world, this insight is more relevant than ever. Religious and cultural diversity, when misunderstood or manipulated, can become a source of tension. But when approached with wisdom and respect, that same diversity becomes a powerful resource for peace, resilience, and shared human progress. Today's societies across the globe face profound challenges: violent conflict, forced displacement, climate change, economic inequality, and the erosion of social trust. These challenges do not respect borders, religions, or cultures. They demand cooperation across all divides, including religious one and others. Interfaith harmony, therefore, is not merely a moral aspiration. It is a strategic necessity for sustainable peace and development. At its core, interfaith harmony does not require agreement on theology or belief. Rather, it requires a commitment to mutual respect, to dialogue without fear, and to the recognition of our shared humanity. It calls us to replace stereotypes with understanding and suspicion with engagement. Allow me to share a brief experience that illustrates the transformative power of dialogue. Several years ago, the founders of UPF invited 40 Muslim leaders from an Arabic country to participate in a 40-day seminar in New York. The seminar was fully funded and designed to foster interfaith understanding through dialogue with leaders of other religious traditions. Among the participants was the Minister of Religious Affairs of that country, which I will not mention its name. As the director of the seminar, I stated clearly during the orientation that the purpose of the program was to listen respectfully, to exchange perspectives openly, and to learn from one another. When I finished, the minister stood up and made a statement that surprised many in the room. He said that while they had come to listen, their intention was also to convert others to Islam. This moment was challenging, but it was also revealing. It demonstrates the depths of mistrust and misunderstanding that can exist when dialogue has not yet taken place. However, what followed was for more instructive. After only a few days, the minister was required to return to his country. He left without converting anyone. Instead, he departed with a genuine appreciation for the seminar and its participants. And he later developed a lasting friendship with the sponsoring organization. When similar seminars were subsequently offered to the participants from 6 other countries, we observe a similar pattern. Some arrive with a rigid or exclusive mindset, but by the end of the program, while theological convictions remain unchanged, attitudes had shifted. No one abandoned their faith. No one was converted, but nearly everyone left with greater respect for other religions and a deeper appreciation of the values they contributed to the society. This experience affirmed a vital lesson. Interfaith dialogue is not about persuasion or conversion. It's about transformation of perception. It's about creating a space where people encounter one another not as adversaries, but as fellow human beings with shared concerns, hopes, and responsibilities. Such dialogue does not weaken faith. On the contrary, it often deepens it by challenging participants to reflect more thoroughly on their own beliefs while honoring the dignity of others. Building on these experiences, our interfaith harmony efforts have expanded globally through international, regional, national, and local initiatives organized by the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development, one of several other UPF-affiliated associations. Together, these bodies work to promote cooperation not only among religious leaders, but also across key sectors of society, including politics, business, media, academia, and the arts and culture. This comprehensive approach for peace reflects an important reality. Harmony cannot be achieved in isolation. Religious leaders, political policymakers, educators, journalists, artists, and business leaders all play critical roles in shaping narratives, influencing attitudes, and modeling respectful engagement, all ultimately for peace. As we observe World Interfaith Harmony Week, we are reminded that dialogue must be sustained beyond ceremonial occasion. It must be institutionalized, resourced, and practiced consistently, especially at the local level, where people of different faiths live together side by side, where tensions, if left unaddressed, can easily escalate. The United Nations has long recognized that peace is not sustained by agreements alone. It is sustained by relationships, by trust built over time, by shared experiences, and by the willingness to listen even when conversations are difficult. Interfaith dialogue is one of the most effective tools we have to build that trust and peace. In closing, let us remember that harmony does not mean uniformity, and dialogue does not require compromise of belief. Harmony means choosing respect over rejection, and dialogue means engaging differences with courage and humility. When we do so, we strengthen not only peaceful coexistence, among religions, but the foundation of a global peace itself. As we observe World Interfaith Harmony Week, I invite each of us to move beyond symbolic dialogue towards sustained engagement. Let us invest in a space where people of different faith can meet regularly, listen deeply, and work together on shared challenges. Let us challenge intolerance where it appears and model respect in our institutions, communities, and daily interaction. Interfaith harmony begins not with agreement, but with commitment. The commitment to see one another as partners in building a peaceful and shared future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Tajuddin Hamad, for a brilliant introduction and overview of this important topic. I'm going to keep us going because we have four excellent speakers, three in addition to Dr. Hamad. So I'd like to now invite my good friend, Dr. Afsar Rator, who's speaking to us from Vienna. He's been struggling with a very bad flu bug, but he has come here nonetheless. I want to show first, Young Sun, if you could just quickly scroll through the photos from the Vienna conference, just to give a kind of a background, because Dr. Rator was instrumental in putting together this conference, and I think it just visually will give you kind of a taste of the conference, and then Dr. Rator can begin to speak. This is the UN headquarters in Vienna, one of the centers of the United Nations, along with New York and Geneva and Nairobi. Okay, Dr. Rator.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you very much, faculty member, distinguished guest, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to take this opportunity to express my thanks to Dr. Walsh and also the HJI University for inviting me to this timely and urgent webinar. I greet you warmly, as Dr. Walsh mentioned, from Vienna. We gather today under the Charter of the United Nations with a shared mission to protect human dignity, to prevent conflict, and to create conditions in which every person can live in safety and freely practice their faith. Yet we meet at a crossroad. Around the world, our headlines tell a story we cannot, we must not, and we should not ignore. Rising anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, mounting attacks on Christian community, growing hostility towards migrant, even as many society urgently need workers and skills to keep their economies and industry alive. Worse still is the return in some quarters of a colonial era mindset, the belief that might is right, that international law and the rule-based order are obsolete. We see dangerous assertion of supremacy, white supremacy, black supremacy, brown supremacy, east, west supremacy, religious or ethnic supremacy, each one a poison that destroy the common good. Our generation, especially I have seen already witnessed too much bloodshed, too much displacement, Those realities demand our honesty and our action. But honesty must never become hopelessness. As most of you may know me, I am a believer in a full glass, in the conviction that every crisis contains within a path to progress, every problem brings an opportunity, if we commit ourselves to peace, reconciliation, and true harmony. As you may know, my intervention never are based on scholarly intervention, but rather I speak from my over 27 years of field experience with United Nations, serving in conflict-affected region and peacekeeping missions. I could tell you several stories from Bosnia-Herzegovina, Somalia, Haiti, Angola, Mozambique, East Timor, and so on. But unfortunately, time is very limited. However, one story that still haunts me, and one that teaches why religion can be both a wound and a cure, a problem and a solution. Let me start with that. In 1994, Rwanda became the site of one of the most brutal genocide in the modern history. In roughly, ladies and gentlemen, 100 days, about 1 million innocent people were killed. 10,000 statistically per day and 500 per hour. Can you imagine? What happened? The Arusha Peace Agreement of 1993 had sought to end the civil war in Rwanda by creating a power-sharing government and integrating armed forces. The UN Assistance Mission of Rwanda, the so-called UNIMER, was deployed to help implement that agreement. But the peacekeeping effort was insufficient. Requests from the UN missions, including us, for reinforcement went unanswered by the Security Council, unfortunately. When the violence erupted after the assassination of President, let me read his name, Habyarimana, on 6 April 1994, the international response failed, unfortunately, to stop the slaughter that followed. The brutality contained horrors. I will never forget, as I was stationed there 2 weeks later as a civilian. I stood where a church, a house of God, became an instrument of murder. Over 5,000 Tutsi had sought refuge in Tarama Church, very famous Tarama Church. Instead of protection, they found betrayal. The custodian of the sanctuary, a Hutu priest, locked the doors and invited a mob. The church was burned. 5,000 men, women, and children were burned to death there. I witnessed that. What shocked me most was not only the violence, but the perversion of religion itself. Faith turned into a tool of exclusion, vengeance, and death. Another story I can tell you, and many other like that. Yet the time is very, very limited. We began reconciliation by inviting community leaders right after that, elders, religious institution, into a process of truth-telling and healing. In acts that required courage and imagination, leaders choose forgiveness, or at least choose the difficult work of rebuilding together. Over the years, Rwanda had made remarkable strides. Reconciliation effort, social development, improved health indicator, reduced child mortality and HIV rates, impressive GDP growth of 8% in all Africa is unbelievable, and substantial foreign investment, the highest in Africa. Those gains did not erase the past. Nothing can, but they demonstrate that society can rebuild when the shared work of healing is taken seriously. I want to share you here a good story that I was invited by the President Kagame to witness a wedding between a Hutu and a Tutsi in 2014, 20 years after the genocide. Can you imagine how quick this healing worked out? One of my mentors, the late great Archbishop of South Africa, Desmond Tutu, once told me, my son Rathor, religion is the most powerful weapon to build bridges of peace, reconciliation, and love. And if it is used properly, that truth has been my guiding light. Few years ago, when I left the United Nations to pursue peace initiative without diplomatic constraint and pressure, I had the honor to meet Mr. Peter Hyder, the president of Universal Peace Federation. I discovered, ladies and gentlemen, that the UPF's mission mirrors my deepest conviction that religious teaching, properly understood, can be a powerful instrument for peace. I am honored to be part of such a dynamic, result-driven team of UPF. My time with UPF has been profoundly energizing and full of tangible progress. Together, I traveled with Dr. Schmidt from Germany and Jack Marion from France to Ukraine twice to pursue peace and reconciliation, a mission that may sound improbable and questionable in today's geopolitics. But as you know me, as my reconciliation initiative after the Rwanda genocide started, and yet it's exactly the work that moment demands. The turning point came at a conference at the UN headquarters in Vienna, where I met Dr. Thomas Walsh. Guided by his vision, 6 of us like-minded came together to establish the Coalition of Faith-Based Organization International. From that beginning, thank you very much, Dr. Walsh, we have grown across Europe, taking root in South Asia, and we are now preparing to extend our vision, work, and objective into Africa and South America. There is a long list of initiatives behind us and ahead of us, but what matters most is this: we are proving that determined people, united by purpose, can translate hope into concrete action. Ladies and gentlemen, so let me end with this. Violence is loud and immediate. Healing is quieter and takes longer. Violence shouts that we are different. Healing whispers that we are human. We can answer hatred with laws and sanction, but laws alone will never fill a burned church. Only people who choose compassion over brutality can fill it again. If religion is to claim its highest calling, it must transform the fiercest of loyalty into the deepest of responsibility for one another. That is the work before us. That is the mission that will redeem our better world. And remember this, in the clearest possible terms, when faith chooses hatred, it destroyed. When faith chooses mercy, it creates the future. Choose mercy, choose peace, choose life. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Powerful statement, Dr. Rator. Excellent. And your years of experience and labors in some of the trouble spots of our world shows itself well. And we're very happy you're involved so actively with our colleagues in the Universal Peace Federation, as well as the Coalition of Faith-Based Organizations. And Vienna is truly a center, a world center, and that's why the UN is based there. It's a bridge between East and West, and we're really glad you're there. And many of our colleagues there do. Please give them our best, like Dr. Platzer and Mr. Hyder and Dr. Kuhn. Thank you once again. Brilliant speech. We'll move now to Nagma Shrestha. Nagma, please. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. I'd like to begin by thanking Dr. Walsh and the HJI faculty for organizing this webinar and for bringing us together for this important conversation. It's also been really nice to hear from Dr. Hamad and Dr. Afsar, and I'm looking forward to hearing from Guruji and to the discussion afterwards. It's really meaningful to be here today, not only as the representative to the UN of the International Association of Youth and Students for Peace, or IAYSP, but also as a master's student here at HJI, studying peace studies, as Dr. Walsh has already mentioned. So in many ways, I'm speaking to you both as a practitioner and as a student, someone working in the UN system, but also someone who is still learning and still asking questions about what peace really looks like in practice. I come from Nepal, the birthplace of the Buddha, a place where spirituality is not always something formal, it's something you grow up with. I was raised Hindu and I also follow Buddhist principles. Over time, I've realized that these paths are less about labels and more about daily choices, how we treat people, how we respond under pressure, and how we carry ourselves when things don't go our way. Both Hindu and Buddhist traditions speak about interconnectedness, the idea that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm, that what happens within us doesn't just stay contained, it shows up in our families, our communities, and our societies. Buddhism puts it very simply, nothing exists on its own. Everything is connected. And interestingly, even modern science is now catching up to this idea that everything is connected, that intention matters, that observation matters, different languages, different frameworks, but somehow pointing to the same truth. My work with Youth and Students for Peace, or IAYSP, is with a youth-led international organization with chapters in over 50 countries. We focus on empowering young people to become global citizens who lead through service and peace building. Through my work with IAYSP, I've also come to realize and appreciate the concept of Hyojong, introduced by YSP founder Dr. Hak Jahan, who is currently unjustly detained in South Korea. At its core, Hyojong is about connecting to the highest love and truth, known by different names across traditions such as God, Allah, or the universe, and translating that connection into sincere relationships with others. It is about gratitude, about responsibility, about choosing to live not only for yourself, but with care for others. For me, it feels deeply familiar, echoing the same values I grew up with back home. Hyojong is also about our connection to the divine. It is a way of speaking to the Creator and our ancestors through our actions. It's the understanding that when we live for the sake of others, we are actually honoring the source of our lives and the vast cosmos we all share. What I really love about gatherings like this is that we don't need to agree on every theological detail to recognize shared wisdom. Across faiths, culture, and traditions, there's a common understanding that peace doesn't start out there. It starts much closer in how we live, how we relate, and how we lead. At the United Nations, a place most people associate with urgency, negotiation, and global crisis, there's actually a quiet space that many people don't know about: the UN Meditation Room. The first time I toured the UN, it was with my colleague John, and he was the one who took me there. I remember being genuinely happy and a little surprised to see that in the middle of this very busy, very political place, there was a room set aside just for stillness and reflection. Later on, Dr. Hamad, who's here with us today, encouraged us to actually read the message outside that room, written by Dag Hammarskjöld, a former Secretary General of United Nations, and that message really stayed with me, especially the idea that a house dedicated to peace must also make room for stillness in the inner sense. I find that deeply meaningful, especially in the work we do. Because in my work at the UN, especially representing youth and students, I spend a lot of time in conversations about conflict, development, and global challenges. These conversations are essential. Policies matter, institutions matter, the Sustainable Development Goals matter. But what I've learned, both in practice and in my studies here at HJI, is that no matter how well designed a system is, It can only go far if the people within it are exhausted, disconnected, or leading from fear. When our inner world is rooted in fear, division follows. And when it's grounded in awareness and compassion, things start to shift, not magically, not overnight, but gradually. Peace building, in my experience, is rarely dramatic. Most of the time, it's quiet. It's listening when you want to interrupt. It's staying curious instead of defensive. It's choosing to respond thoughtfully even when emotions are high. As someone who moves from pageantry into diplomacy and peace work, I didn't arrive here with a grand plan. I arrived with questions, and one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that leadership starts with self-awareness. Before we ask the world to change, we have to be willing to look inward. This is also why youth work is so important. Many young people today are deeply passionate, deeply aware, but also deeply overwhelmed. What they're often searching for is not just change, but grounding, values, a sense of purpose in a world that feels increasingly fragmented yet undeniably interconnected. Just to briefly share what IYSP is, we are a global youth and student network working to promote peace through values-based leadership, dialogue, and cooperation. Our work is closely aligned with the United Nations Youth, Peace, and Security Agenda, which recognizes that young people are not just beneficiaries of peace, but essential partners in building it. At IYSP, we focus on creating spaces where youth can engage across cultures and faiths, connect values with action, and contribute meaningfully to peace building at the community and international level. This is exactly where IYSP focuses its work. We try to build what we call values-based partnership, bringing together youth, faith communities, civil society, and institutions, not just to talk about peace, but to practice it in concrete ways. At this point, instead of just telling you about it, I'd love to briefly show you some of what this looks like in practice. I will quickly share my screen. All right, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So, these will be a compilation of pictures from events that we've attended, that we've also organized. So what you're seeing here are examples of how youth, students, and partners are coming together across cultures and beliefs to create spaces for dialogue, service, and cooperation. And just last week, during the ECOSOC Partnership Forum, IYSP organized a side event on values-based partnerships. We looked closely at why, despite of so many high-level commitments, we still see a gap between policy and reality on the ground. They were our speakers from the same event. We had African Union Mission, UNDP also participating, and some more pictures from the same event. Yeah. So let me just stop sharing. So yes, what you just saw was the event that we did last week, again on the topic values-based partnership. And what we found is that sustainable peace requires more than just legal frameworks. It requires trust. It requires shared ethics. It requires the very things that faith communities and youth networks specialize in. Often the world looks at interfaith engagement as a nice social activity, something symbolic we do to show goodwill. But I believe, and our organization strongly advocates, that it is a strategic necessity. To truly localize the peace agenda, we need to shift how we work together. Based on our recent discussions, there are two specific shifts that we believe are vital for this room. First, we must recognize the legitimacy of values-based networks. Governments and institutions often struggle to reach the hearts of people, but faith-based organizations and youth movements hold the trust of their communities. We are not just consultative stakeholders to be visited occasionally. We are essential partners who build the relational trust that makes peace possible. Second, we need to institutionalize intergenerational co-leadership. In many of our traditions, we honor the wisdom of our elders. In the youth sector, we celebrate the innovation of the young. True harmony isn't just about different faiths sitting together, it's about different generations leading together. We need frameworks that explicitly combine the moral authority and experience of elders with the energy and innovation of youth. This brings me back to Hyojong. When we apply this idea of sincerity of heart to our governance and our cooperation, we stop seeing each other as competitors for resources or attention. We start seeing each other more as an extended family. So my hope for us today, as we carry the spirit of World Interfaith Harmony Week forward, is that we don't just leave this conversation feeling peaceful. I hope we leave with the courage to bring our values into the systems we work in, to insist that character matters as much as competence, to remind our institutions that policy without heart will always be fragile. Peace starts with us, in the quiet of our hearts, but it is sustained by the bridges we build between us. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Nagma. Excellent presentation on behalf of YSP and the great work you're doing. Thank you for showing those slides. I think it shows the real on-the-ground work that you're doing and meeting and working with colleagues there at the United Nations, the African Union, the UNDP program at the UN, the Baha'i Center. So great work, and I commend also your colleague, John Kester, I know is working hard as well, and we're very appreciative of that. Our final speaker, before we have some time for a Q&A, I'd like to welcome a dear friend, but before he comes forward, Guruji, we'd like to show a brief video, and then he will follow from the video. Young Sun, if you could show the video.
भक्ति ज्ञान योग से पावत तन मन में ऊर्जा चेतना जागत हठ राजयोग दे सुदृढ़ शरीरा दूर करे द्वेष विस्मय की पीड़ा निरोध अंत मन तन को करो योगमयं विश्वं कुरु चिंता से मुक्ति कार्य में कुशलता उत्साह संग संग चलने की योग्यता आत्मविश्वास आत्मनियंत्रण योग से होगा वसुधैव कुटुंबकम् वसुधैव कुटुंबकम् वसुधैव कुटुंबकम् ऐसी धरा की कल्पना करो योगमयं विश्वं कुरु 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 विश्वं कुरु
Beautiful. Guruji, you have the floor now. That's an excellent video.
Namaste, everyone. You see, I purposely asked her to show this video. This is our victory. You see, most of your organizations are part of my activities. The partnership is part of my life. You see, the 50 years of my life went through in different ways, all focus on humanity, peace, harmony, spirituality, beyond any religion or culture or ethnicity. I born in a family, my interfaith family. My mother is from a Hindu tradition, and they belong to Buddhist and the indigenous. And we have monks in our family. And my dad's family is Orthodox Christians. They are the Syrian Orthodox. When Apostle Saint Thomas came to India in AD 52, he converted 12 Brahmin families, Hindu families. One is my father's family. So we have big lineage about the Christianity. We have bishops, monks. Even one of the bishops went to Korea for Father's event in 90s. Yeah. So I'll say I always admire Reverend Moon and family and all the organizations. They were part of half of my life. Yeah. I met them in mid-90s in India. I had one interfaith even in my city. I remember John Gehring came to my event. Yeah. Then he was talking about different religions, peace movements, and he mentioned about one book that was a world scripture. Then I contacted the Delhi office. Immediately I got the book. And Professor Andrew Wilson edited that book. It's a beautiful book for educational purpose. So I refer to my students always. Then Dr. Walsh and all other people, I see them in my magazines. I always read, but before coming to America. So in September 14, 1999, I came to New York. Then one of my mentors, Swami Buaji Maharaj, he was very active at the UN. So he introduced me to Kofi Annan. So Kofi Annan asked me a question, what do you want to implement here? Why you are coming to New York? So I said, my plan is having a yoga day. Then he asked, why you want to make a yoga day? I said, yoga is beyond religion. It's a healthy exercise or healthy living style. And I am from Interfaith family, so I want to make it as it is. Then he said, a good idea, we'll move. Then we start doing different things, meeting different times. And start classes, renting places in the 4 West 43rd Street. It was like a very cheap rate for me that time. I slowly increased the rent. Then I slowly met UPF people, Women's Federation, UTS. Sometimes I give classes there, on Hindus or spirituality, panel discussions. Then we did so many interfaith programs. You see one event in Madison Square Garden, that was a big event. I think one photo is from that one from Long Island Coliseum. Then at the UN, we did numerous events. Even look at Shrestha already mentioned about the meditation room. Every Thursday, 12 to 12:30, we have a meditation session. Last year, I gave a write-up about that and the picture, and they put it on the UN website. It's already there. And I tried to bring all the committees together, and I thought, bring something for the NGOs and invite all the diplomats and the elected officials to our events. That's building up very well. But only COVID time we had little time, a difficult time, but I felt we are in the same place. People are differing, doing different events according to their bylaws, whatever. But when you come to the common cause, going very well. That shows when we did the Interfaith event last day with Thomas Walsh and all other people are so happy because they want to discuss what's the problems going on around the globe. We don't want to ignore anyone, any ethnicity. We all are divine chosen being on this earth under one God. We cannot change that reality. Sometimes we want to showcase only my organization, my country. That's not good. We are lucky to born in a human life. I always say that to my students, because at least we can think different ways. We can learn things. We can implement with friendship. When you argue, it creates a problem. When you sit together, have a coffee and discuss, they will trust us. It's easy to educate people. We have to make sure children start growing with the love and care. Otherwise, a problem. We are missing the beautiful life because of the lack of leadership in a good manner. So we have to educate children how to serve the community. When we serve unconditionally, automatically we will become a leader. We don't want to look for I want to be a leader, I want to be a king. No, we don't need. Everything happens by the energy between people. So like now the AI is coming, we can find out anything. But our energy is bigger than that. If you increase your internal energy, that is beyond the energy of sun. That's what the yogis talk about. So we have to make sure we are doing something for the betterment for the society, not for selfishness. I always stay away from my own things. Yesterday I felt sick. I was running around last 2 months. I said, I want to be in the program. I'm not going to miss it. So I took a heavy medicine. Usually I don't take medicines. I take natural medicine, that's the way it is. But I said, I want to be there. Because I don't want to miss it. This is very important to have interactive sessions. Because I know some people be in the meetings. Sometimes we send the videos to YouTube or some other place. So people watch, they always look at us, how we are reacting or how we are leading our own life. We should be a model for the next generation. If we give a wrong information to the younger generation, they learn that one. So we don't want that to happen. So we have to make sure in every sector of our community, we need a ethical, spiritual leaders. Otherwise, it will collapse our community, especially families. You see how many cases are in the court every single day because of the lack of proper respect or communications. Get angry, fight each other, create problems on and on. That means lack of spiritual practice. Because we are lucky to have this life because of the God. When we exclude God from our life, we are going down. I don't want to say bad words. So we always talk about heaven. Heaven should be on this earth with our life. So I hope we will all come together again and again. We never give up. We will continue our work and we will achieve our victory. That's my hope. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Guruji. Beautiful, beautiful message. Really, your life is such a great example. And you work tirelessly. And I just have to applaud your work over many, many years. There's never a time I'm at the UN where I don't see you and hear about the work you're doing. And I know this week you must be working 24 hours a day for this whole month of February. So thank you for being with us. Let's bring our panelists back and like to open it up. We have a few minutes. Maybe we'll take 10 minutes for questions. If anyone would like to either raise your hand or put something in the chat column. Maybe I see Dr. Kittle here. He was working in India for many years and with UPF. I also see Dr. Wilson, who was the editor-in-chief of World Scripture, and others who may want to make a comment or question. Dr. Kittle, you want to say a word? Oh, I see Dr. Chesnavaj. Dr. Chesnavaj just completed a World Interfaith Harmony Week program here in New York. Welcome, Dr. Chesnavaj.
Thank you, Dr. Walsh, and good to see everyone. Actually, Guru Dilipji and Remy Aleppo, two people in this particular call, were participants. And at the time, UTS, prior to HJI coming about, UTS had hosted this particular service that I've had going for the last 22 years, about 3 different occasions. So I do encourage everyone here to consider planning some type of event during World Interfaith Harmony Week. I put the general UN link in the chat. My event has been formally recognized and sent into the World Interfaith Harmony organization to be an official World Interfaith Harmony event. So I encourage others to continue spreading the message of harmony. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chesnavaj. You know, they do offer awards too for those that do very significant programs. So I hope yours will be considered, having been done successfully. I see Dr. Wilson and then Dr. Kittle have their hands raised.
I'm going to especially address Guru Dilipji, who I so appreciate you mentioning that you are using World Scripture with your students. In my continued spiritual investigations, I've really come to realize that there still is a big gap philosophically and ontologically between Eastern and Western religions, particularly the Western concept of the personal God and the personal spirit that exists after death versus the South Asian and Buddhist view of reincarnation and a element of self. I don't want to call it personhood, but self that exists through many lifetimes. And I want to say that as a unificationist who has been raised in the Judeo-Christian tradition, I want to apologize for not being serious enough, to take seriously enough, the views about reincarnation. It's been very typical among many unificationists to put down reincarnation as a misunderstanding of returning resurrection. But actually, I believe that in time, we will discover that there is, in fact, a reality to the soul that is beyond just the spirit, but that is an element of God that is connected to each one of us and that perseveres through many lifetimes, and that yogis who are going into deep into meditation are connecting to God through this element of soul. And so what I want to say to my fellow unificationists is, in our doing interfaith work, we should not think too pridefully about our divine principle theology as if it knows everything. Because there are some Asian elements, South Asian elements that divine principle does not fully pay attention to or honor as much as it should. So I want to really honor the yogic tradition and the insights of people in India and Nepal for their great spirituality and their relationship to God through that. So I just wanted to make that statement.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Excellent comment. I'm going to let Dr. Kittle, then Dr. Kone make a comment. Then I think we're going to allow each panelist just to say some closing words. So Dr. Kittle, a brief word, and then Dr. Kone.
Yeah, I don't have a question, but really just congratulations. This was such an extraordinarily enriching program. You had, youth, you had experience, East, West, you got people involved in the NGO and United Nations. And it was so enriching to see this heart and this spirit carried in. It can be carried in any venue, any avenue, or any really position that you have. And just so congratulations. I didn't have a chance to write in the chat group after Guruji, so I'll just mention one point. I loved his work on the family, talking about the importance of the family. And at the end, we must have heaven on earth in this life. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kittle. Dr. Kone.
Yeah, same thing. I want to congratulate Guru and all the speakers, Dr. Akka, Dr. Tajima, thank you, and Nagma. Thank you, Dr. Walsh, for allowing this to happen. I think we used to do a lot of interfaith work in the past. I mean, it was very inspiring, and I hope we can continue doing this thing. But I'm writing an article that I'm planning to publish, which is the role of religious leaders in addressing political conflict in Africa. And it's very interesting. The only way this could work is the fact that they did some type of interfaith work before addressing the political issues. So that means when religious leaders actually come together and understand each other on some basics, they have they become a moral power to actually influence politics. So this is something that is very important that I appreciate that we did that this week, and I hope we can keep doing that. And congratulations to Guru and others for this work.
Thank you, Dr. Kone. Good, very good comment. Now, I'd like each one to take just 1 minute to say a final word. Maybe we'll go in the same order, Dr. Hamad, Dr. Rator, Nagma, and Guruji.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Walsh. Thank you, my fellow speakers and participants. May this World Interfaith Harmony Week inspire us to deepen our commitment to dialogue, to challenge intolerance wherever it appears, and to work together across faith and cultures for a more just, peaceful, and compassionate world. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Kamal, could you please put in a good word to King Abdullah II about our program today, and we can get the award this year for the best program?
Of course.
Okay. Dr. Rator, please.
Okay, my concluding word will be that as my mentor, Archbishop Desmond Tutu once said, religion is a very strong weapon. Use it properly in order to build bridges of love, peace, and reconciliation. And I think we have been doing a lot of that kind of activities around the world on the UPF platform, as well as on the Collision of Faith-Based Organization and other platform we are using here in Europe and the world. And I think, as Dr. Hamad in the beginning said, that this workshop, which brought together a lot of religious leaders together, and they in the beginning, they had the misunderstanding. By dialogue, by talking to each other, we can create an atmosphere of understanding and understanding of each other. We should be enough tolerant, accepting other religion as they are, and people different faith. And I think this is very important, that we should respect the differences. We should respect that we are different and we have a different faith, and we should not try to impose on each other. With that, I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Rathod. Eloquent remarks, and please take care of your health. I know you're struggling with the flu, but we need you working as tirelessly as you have been for many, many more years to come. So get some good rest. Nagma?
Yes, thank you again, Dr. Walsh. So my message is, if we are really serious about building lasting peace, then we also have to be serious about trusting young people, working across generations, and grounding our efforts in shared values. Conversations like this matter because they remind us that interfaith cooperation is not symbolic, it's actually practical, and it is necessary. So thank you again for creating this space, and thank you so much for listening.
So wonderful to have you. I don't know if John Kester's around. Maybe he can just say hello.
John, you want to say hello? He's just here.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you.
Okay.
Good to listen.
Yeah, great work. Great work you're doing there. And Guruji, you have the final word.
So the time for bring all the scriptures, all the points of theology in one roof. We'll need that. And spirituality should go align with science. We don't want to exclude science. Sometimes it should be logical when we talk or we teach. So we need the points is correct. We don't want to talk what we don't believe in. It should be practically correct. So sometimes one correct can change in future. That fluctuation is there. We don't know, because we are limited in certain ways unless we go beyond our ability. That's why we practice, we call sadhana. That is more spiritual practices. Like Jesus walking on the water, that is in our yogic philosophy. So many things like that. So we have to bring everything under one roof. The needed world is one family. That has to be implemented. We may wear different attire, fine. Good to have different colors, like a garden, it's good to have that too. Nothing wrong with it. But the basic thing is begin the day with the love, spend the day with the love, fill the day with the love, and end the day with the love. That's the way to God. We create the God and goddesses, but spirituality already exists in the universe. That's the thing we have to look forward. So that's the time everything can align according to the astrological chart. Everything will change. But we have to do our work. Thank you.
That's beautiful. I felt like you just gave the closing benediction in prayer. So very, very eloquent and beautiful. So thank you, everyone, for joining this World Interfaith Harmony Week program sponsored by HJI with these very distinguished panelists who really gave us great wisdom and insight. Thank you, everyone. And until next time, God bless.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for this beautiful panel.
Thank you.
Wonderful
Thank you,
presentation.
Dr. Wilson.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Gittel.
Bye. Bye-bye.